right, now we move on to the third question. It will come out of my lips before it appears on the screen. So here it goes. With which of the following countries does Singapore not have a free trade agreement? Okay, now listen carefully. Which of the following countries does Singapore not have a free trade agreement, an FTA? Australia, India, China, Jordan, Japan, Korea, Panama, Peru, United States. Counting down, 8 seconds. Which of these does Singapore not have an FTA?
Jordan.
What's your answer again?
Jordan.
Jordan? Well, the time is up, but the answer was given. Unfortunately, that is a trick question. None, all right? That is the answer. Singapore has FTAs with all the countries mentioned. But of course, all right, no worries, okay? It was a good effort, though. All right, no points there, but we move on to the next question, all right, which is question number 4. Now, it goes like this. Singapore's integrated resorts are expected to expand Singapore's MICE industry, M-I-C-E. Now, what does MICE stands for?
Meetings, incentives, incentive travels, conventions, exhibitions.
Well done. 10 points to Team B. That's absolutely correct. MICE. We have very exciting acronyms in Singapore. MICE. All right, question number 5 now. Lone Ranger, what was Singapore's GDP growth in 2008? 8 seconds, counting down. GDP growth.
Minus 5%.
I beg your pardon?
Minus 5%.
Minus 5%. That's a very pessimistic view of it. Unfortunately, that is not correct. We're looking at a positive number, 1.1% that is. All right, no worries. We're looking at 1.1%. No points to Team B, but no penalty as well. We move on to question number 6. All right. Which was the first REIT, R-E-I-T, Real Estate Investment Trust, to be listed on the Singapore Exchange? The first REIT to be listed, 8 seconds, counting down.
MacArthur Cook International.
What's your question again? Oh, what's your answer again?
MacArthur Cook International.
I'm sorry, that's not the right answer. It was a good try, though. I'm talking about Capital Mall Trust. That's what we're looking at, the first REIT to be listed on the Singapore Exchange. All right, moving on to the 7th question now. And it goes like this. The PMI, right? The PMI is one key indicator of the performance of the manufacturing sector. What does PMI stand for? 8 seconds, counting down. The PMI is a key indicator of the performance of the manufacturing sector. What does it stand for?
Pass.
Give it a pass. All right, we're looking at the answer. Purchasing Managers Index. All right, that's the PMI. All right, moving on to the next question. Now, Lone Ranger, what is the economic term for the situation where output is falling but prices are rising? Output falls but prices rise. What is the economic term for it? 8 seconds, counting down. All right. Now, the time is up. We were looking at the answer, stagflation. Not a stag party, but a stagflation, yes. But anyway, we move on to question number 9. Well, this is how it goes, okay? Intraco, Olam International, FNN. These 3 entities, Intraco, Olam International, FNN. Which one of these is not a Straits Times Index stock?
Is this a trick question again? Intraco.
It's me. Your guess is as good as mine. Sorry?
Intraco.
Absolutely correct. Intraco is not a Straits Times Index stock. Well done. 10 points to Team B. All right, round of applause there. We're doing, well, quite nicely. In fact, it's still anyone's game. That's cool. All right, the final question. Okay, see if you can pull the margin a little bit wider for your team. All right? Now, the final question we're looking at goes like this, Lone Ranger. I think it's relatively simple, but anyway, here it goes. Where is the World Trade Organization located? 8 seconds, counting down. Where is the WTO located?
New York.
New York. Nice place for shopping. Yes. Unfortunately, that's not the correct answer. We're looking at Geneva. All right, no worries. Geneva it is. A round of applause, though, for our Lone Ranger. He's done pretty darn well at 130 for Team B. So as it stands, ladies and gentlemen, we're at 100 for Team A, 130 for Team B, and that concludes our segment 2. The question for 15 minutes, what's our case scenario here? Let's have it. Now, this is your case scenario, all right? You are asked to do a SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis on a cash-rich print media company that has a monopoly in its home market and several good brands. What would your analysis show? And your 15 minutes starts now. Team A, if you're ready, okay, kindly bring your flip charts out to the center of the stage, right in front, and remember the speaker to kindly hold the mics. Bring the mics with you. You may wish to bring your flip chart a little bit closer to the front so that the judges can have a look at them. All right, Team A from NUS, if you're ready. If you're ready and the judges are ready, you have 10 minutes to do your presentation and your time starts now.
Okay, so firstly, let's go straight into the strengths of the company. As a cash-rich print media company, we are focusing first on the cash-rich part. They have good liquidity position, so they are in a good position to expand their media. Even though they are a monopoly, they should consider, this is a good strength for them, that they can expand their market share, but they expand their absolute market share in a media company. And then next, because they have their strong financial backing, they also have the monopoly over print advertisements. That means that cash flow from operations from print media is relatively strong because firstly, you consider how print media is actually one of the most reliable and largest reaching medias, especially in terms of advertisements. And so they have quite a strong income coming from print media advertisements. And secondly, as a monopoly and as one that has as a monopoly in their home market and as one has several good brands, they have, as a print media, good reliability and customer familiarity. So, and again, that's where their position as a print media in attracting advertisements is strong. Okay, and also they have several good brands. That means they diversify, and then they reach the different needs of the population. Which means that if a company that's looking into maybe the adult section would go into one that's going that caters to the adults, and one that's looking for the teens will also be able to look for their different brands. Okay, next, the weaknesses of this company. Firstly, as a monopoly, they have structural rigidity. Especially if you look at it, they are only a monopoly in print media specifically. But then there are so many other forms of media, which I will cover later on as a threats too. Next, we all know how media is also known as the fourth governmental institution, other than the executive, legislative, and judiciary. So their opinions and their views that's aired in the newspapers, in the print media, might be subject to possible government intervention. So that is a long-term threat that they may have to consider if the political stability, long-term weaknesses as a monopoly, that they'll be the first to be subjected to such government control. Okay, next, opportunities. Firstly, technological advancement. As we now know, there are many different forms of media coming up, other than print TV, and definitely the new internet media. So, as a print monopoly as print media, they have the major source of local news. They already have the structure to expand, to acquire this sort of news. So, definitely, this technological advancement in other forms of media is where they can consider moving into, because they already have this journalism news that they can spread using other forms of media.